opportunity to visit the site, the Hatay province, and as part of our response to the Turkey earthquake. A few months later, and I could see the impact on the ground. I mean, we're talking about 14 million people affected. We're talking about 15% of the housing stock demolished, and we're talking about 16% of the population also affected. Now, the disruption to the economy, to services, to infrastructure was beyond what could be explained in words, and I think the videos that were presented by His Excellency the Governor and the Mayor captured very well that. Now, the issue of debris removal falls within the overall context of the interventions that the government has taken place and for which also development partners have contributed. So at the World Bank, our response to the Turkey earthquake was a $1.8 billion intervention package, $1 billion of which went for the restoration of medical health, basically health services, municipal infrastructure, and rural housing. And then 800 million were in existing projects that were reallocated to the disaster-affected areas. So that's probably the largest intervention that we've had in post-earthquake reconstruction and recovery in any place in the world, which obviously because of the very important partnership we have with Turkey. Now, when we start talking about debris and construction waste management, I mean, we've seen the impressive efforts that have taken place. I mean, 86,000 buildings translate into, multiple million tons of debris, and, obviously you cannot landfill that, so you need to find solutions that are adapted, and in this regard, a circular economy approach, which basically substitutes the end-of-life concept with the 4 R's, which is basically reusing, recycling, recovery, and let me find my 4th R. Yeah, reducing, reusing, recycling, and the recovery of material becomes very essential. Now, the government has, created facilities to do the processing of material, construction material, which is a very impressive effort. I'm aware that the IFD is working closely, the government of Japan as well, and this is, again, something within the overall waste management concept. Now, at the bank, we're working on circular economy on a variety of sectors, on waste management, but also we do it on water. We have a major circular economy project where we're increasing the treatment of wastewater, we're reusing it for agriculture and drainage, and we also, it applies to the built environment. So we are active in all these. Now, it is especially important, as I said, because you can't landfill all this amount, but at the same time, we have to understand that circular economy is still a nascent concept. I mean, there's a couple of places in the world. I mean, Europe, obviously, it's a prevalent concept, China, and now Turkey is scaling up. And in general, waste management, there is a tendency where, if you will, waste in general is inversely proportional with, is proportional to increasing levels of GDP per capita. So, I mean, finding good models where waste management, where the reduction of waste are active, are rare out there. The government of Japan is one of the most impressive one in this regard. But as I said, it's still a nascent concept. It is a costly concept, and for instance, in the European Union, because of the directive to reduce the landfilling to 10% by 2035, and there are many countries in the European Union that are aggressively pursuing circular economy efforts, because a country like Croatia is at 56% landfilling. They've got 10 years to get to a 10% landfilling. Now, as I said, the cost factor is still important. I mean, there are 2 ways of doing it. One way is the one we've seen over here, which is what you call downcycling, meaning basically you transform construction waste into rubble, base material, fill material, that is used in paving roads, that is used in aggregate, etc. But then there's alternative approaches. So for instance, in Denmark, there's a Bornholm municipality which has decided that it will go to a zero waste model by 2032. So they have introduced incentives to the private sector to basically recycle and reuse construction material. Obviously, they create a database of the buildings that are slated for demolition. They help with the sorting and the storage of this material, and they create a database that allows developers and private investors to come and reclaim the material that would be important, let's say, for a historic preservation project, etc. Some material is in high demand, but of course not a lot of the material is in high demand. So I mean, it still does create challenges, but at the same time, in a post-earthquake situation, the volume of debris and construction management, short of landfilling, other areas, becomes really important to deploy circular economy model. So I wanted to really praise the efforts of the Turkish government, of course, under the leadership of Her Excellency, the First Lady, with her Zero Waste initiative that has set the stage. Also, the government of Turkey and the World Bank is supporting them, is setting in place a regulatory framework for circular economy. We are also supporting the SBO, the Strategy and Budget Office, under the Presidency of the Republic, at the assessment of the debris volumes. The estimate was that a normal disposition would have taken something like 2.2 billion, and developing strategies for that deployment. So it is a central part of our support program at the World Bank, and it's a major challenge. It's a challenge that not a lot of places have succeeded, but I think with the right partners around the table, IFA, with JICA, with the EBRD and the World Bank, it's a challenge that can definitely be overcome. So once again, thank you for having me, and if you allow me, I'll excuse myself because I have another meeting that's starting.
Thank you, Mr. Wahba. We know that you need to rush for another panel. Thank you for your flexibility. Unfortunately, the program has been shifted a bit due to the ministerial declaration of the long-term strategy of Turkey. Thank you very much. So, thank you. Okay, so thank you. I'm continuing with the second question. Geologically, the fate of our country and Japan is quite similar. Unfortunately, we frequently deal with major earthquakes. What are your experiences in combating disasters and post-earthquake operations? So I'm leaving the word for Ms. Masako Ogawa, Deputy Director General, Global Environment Bureau, Minister of Environment in Japan. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have a presentation.
Okay, we are dealing with it immediately.
So, yeah,
Yes, your presentation is right here. You can come here if you would be more comfortable.
so yeah, as introduced, thank you very much for inviting us for sharing our experiences. And as said, Japan has almost every year we have a huge. We have a huge earthquake, particularly for example, this year, in the eve of this year, 2nd January, we had a huge earthquake in Noto area. And through our experience, as you may are aware that there is some impact, huge impacts, and particularly from recovering and the earthquake, we have the two-stage, major stage. One is, of course, a rescue relief stage, and another is a recovery stage. And but either stages, we have seen many impacts from the debris and the waste. For example, like as introduced, hazards to secondary disaster, and also some contamination risk those by the hazardous waste. And also through the mid-term, long-term, we have concern of the public health and also pollution. And so in that sense, as you see in the bottom, we really need a proper handling and early removal of our waste so that we can maintain the environment and we can prevent the pollution. And also, those swift disaster waste management will actually support the early recovery of those area, economic and also the society as well. Then, particularly, we try to stress the 3 points, like a guiding principle. So, as I said, that the safety, speed, and the cost, those are the 3 elements should be taken into account when we implement the disaster waste management. But particularly, I would like to stress that the preparedness. So, previous speaker, like a mayor, indicate that the preparedness would be very, very important for us to help those waste management. Then I would like to introduce some elements of our national master plan for disaster waste management, and this is actually developed 2 months after our Great East Japan earthquake, which hit like Tohoku area, including Fukushima. And before that, actually, we didn't have those master plan. But 2 months after this big earthquake, we developed this plan so that all the responsibility, for example, here, the national government, prefectural government, municipal government, those responsibilities are clearly presented so that we can move swiftly towards the management. For example, I think those responsibility depends on each country. So, but in Japan's case, national government, we work as a control tower, and like we provide financial measures and also dispatch expert, etc. And basically, that in Japan, the waste management is under the municipalities, like cities. So in that case, that municipal is the primary responsible for disaster waste management. But for prefectural government, they can provide the support, like technical and also financial. And also they provide that coordination, overall coordination among that municipality as well as industry, etc. Then, so another important point is the financial measures. For, of course, that the impacted municipality has a huge deficit, huge deficit. So in that case, that basically in Japan case, practically 100% of the cost will be supported from the national government. But if that the earthquake size is smaller, maybe the city government can be support and will be able to provide the financial cost. So, but it all depends on the size and also the size of the city itself. And also, as already previous speaker said, that the recycle and the reuse and the recycle waste is the most important, because that when municipality are affected, it means that all the infrastructure are devastated. So in that case, that we would try to use those waste for coming recovery, etc. And also have to reduce that waste which goes to the those treatment facilities. Then roadmap, it all depends on the size of the earthquake or impact, but it's very important to show that the timeline, how you can quickly implement the removal and how you can implement the disposal and the processing, so that all the economic activity as well as the social activity can come back with those timelines. Then this is a kind of the pretty much like an illustration of our activity. So based on you can imagine those activity happens, but when implemented those activities, some activity or function would be needed for smooth implementation of those recycling and separation and also disposal. So these are some elements. So first, operators, and the third one, storage site. Those are the human, and also the places are very important to secure immediately after that the earthquake. And as stressed before, promotion of separation is particularly important for every stages, even though from the demolition of houses or buildings. And once those waste brought to the storage site, also again more detailed or specific separation will be implemented in the storage site. Then through the process, demolition of houses and the collection and disposal, those processes are implemented. But I would like to stress that those operators, safety of operator, as well as the storage site, secure those the resources are the most important at the beginning of the earthquake, after the earthquake. Then these are some numbers from Great East earthquake, and as you see in the right-hand side circle or figures, we have so many, almost 50%, over 50%. Those are the waste concrete and also asphalt, etc. Then if you look downside, we can actually just achieve 82% recycle. But some part are like thermal recovery, but most of the part are used for construction material, etc. As shown in the first video from Turkey, Hatay city. Then these are the photo of the earthquake after the in I think would be Miyagi or Tohoku area. So in 3 months, the devastated area are cleaned up from March to 6 months, from March to September. We can clean up all those areas, so swiftly move to the recovery phases. And another kind of the product or system we have developed through that our experience is that the de-waste net, that is actually the cumulative network of professionals, like not only the government or official, but including the industry and also industry association, so that through this system we can respond to the request from the impacted government. So in the emergency response as well as the recovery. So based on those the request, but even though there is a request, we know that what is needed from those initial stage as well as a medium to long-term stage, so we can coordinate. We mean that the Ministry of Environment coordinate all the requests as well as the support with the networks. So lastly, the 3 slides would like to introduce how the JICA support the Turkey, particularly after the earthquake. And for example, we support development of disaster waste management guideline, and we have several workshops and meetings so that those guidelines will be developed. Then another introduction support is that we invite relevant officials and persons from Turkey to Japan, so that they can learn or see that what we have implemented in Japan. And last one is the e-learning. So as I said, that in the end, those experience should be shared, and other cities, even though those cities might not experience the disaster, but it might happen. So through those e-learning system, we hope that all the relevant officials as well as industry, etc., all the people to be prepared through those systems. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Ogawa from Ministry of Environment of Japan. Now time is running up, and the last 2 speakers, and I now give the floor to Ms. Atika Ben-Meit from French Development Agency, please.
Thank you very much for hosting AFD at this event and for inviting us. I'll try to do a summary of what I plan to do so that we're saving time. The most important is that we are really honored that you invited us, and we wanted also to recall and to repeat how much it is important for us to be here and to support the government of Turkey strategy in reconstruction and recovery after this earthquake. So you can definitely count on us and in collaboration with our friends from World Bank, UNDP, Japan, and EBRD, of course. But in a few words, to say how we responded to these challenges and the strategic priority that the government of Turkey has put in the reconstruction of the areas that have been affected by the earthquake. To be in line with the strategies, what we have done, and it's really something that is in our DNA, to be country-driven in our activities, is that in our new country strategy for Turkey, that has been approved just last June, one of the two main axes is actually the support of the resilience of the territories and the population facing natural risks. It's really important for us that our strategic operations resonate with the priorities of the government and our partners. But to say a few words in terms of support that we have provided together with partners and with the government after the earthquake, I can quote the grants to civil society working in health sectors for supporting the population in the affected areas, the credit lines to Turkish banks, because what is important, of course, is the reconstruction, and I will come to the debris topic and everything that has been described, but also we need to recreate activity, we need to recreate economic growth. So that's something we have done notably with the banks. I can say as an example, a support to TSKB that has inside the same project on one side that has within the same project reconstruction, so green reconstruction, green buildings, taking into consideration the latest standards in terms of preparation of response to the earthquake, but also energy efficiency, everything that could make it as carbon neutral as possible. We have also supported the reconstruction in rural houses through co-financing with our friends from World Bank. And lastly, another example, another list of activities, it's a complementary financing through ILBank, our partner, to finance together water infrastructures and waste management projects. And that's where I want to have a focus on debris management, which is the main topic of today. We have, in the municipality of Malatya, supported a project in recycling the debris in order to use it as a material for the reconstruction of the buildings. And I know that Japan has done the same in the municipality of Hatay, I think. So it's a complementary support. First, we funded a feasibility study, French government did, through of a French innovation startup called NecoEco, and which helped to build a platform that would actually use the debris that are in the landfill to sort it, use also in the platform there are crushers that would allow to create aggregates that were actually quoted by a mayor previously on the aggregates that are needed for the reconstruction. We believe that, and I think it was already said by our partners previously, that it's a model that we need to replicate. It was done, as I said, in Hatay with you, with the Japan government, on Malatya on our side, but the needs are greater. So my last word would be what I said in the first word. You can count on us to continue replicating this model of how to integrate a circular economy in the response to the natural crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Atika. Well, actually, AFD is interested in the Malatya project for recycling demolition waste, but it is so important that all the finance institutions here today, I mean World Bank, EBRD, AFD, and JICA and Japan government, as the country, Turkey, we have a long history to support our reconstruction and for everything throughout many governmental and non-governmental institutions like Bank and like Ministry of Transport or Ministry of Environment. The ordinary times, okay, but we are going through an extraordinary time, very big disaster we lived. About the cost of earthquake of February 6, 2023, round about $105 billion. Well, so far, after 1.5 years, the shelter and accommodation is so important. As the Minister of Environment, we have already finished almost 130,000 accommodation has submitted to the inhabitants. Our target is to finish at the end of this year about 200,000. But in the end of next year, we are going to finish more than 350,000 houses. Now, the last, next speaker from EBRD, Signor Giampiero Nacci. Please.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. A lot has been said, and of course we agree on the value of partnerships and in also how the international financial community has responded. I like to highlight, of course, first and foremost, the human aspect. At EBRD, Turkey is our biggest country operation. We have hundreds of colleagues which have been directly involved, directly affected, and so clearly that's the main aspect to highlight. But of course there is the cost of the earthquake and the effects of the reconstruction. So in this respect, we've been activated immediately our response. EBRD is a private sector focused organization. So for us, it's about trying to protect and support our clients in the region, but also trying to intervene where needs emerge. So in this respect, we set up a earthquake response package, $1.5 billion that targeted multiple channels of deployment. We work with local banks, our clients, to support them reaching out also SMEs. We work with the private sector organizations that are our direct client, for example, Renaissance, in the development of and reconstruction of, for example, shopping malls, but also very much with in the infrastructure space with our municipal partners. So within this 1.5 billion package, we also earmarked around 500-600 million to support 8 projects, I think 7 municipalities with repair and reconstruction work of waste, water and drinking water supply facility. Out of this project, 1 billion has already been deployed, so the level of activity has been very intense. And out of the 8 water projects, 1 has already been is actually in the process of being finalized, and we're working on the remaining 7 very, very actively. The point I want to make, just to perhaps highlight an element here, that of course the element of preparedness, the element of understanding risk and setting up the system and infrastructure, the methodology, the approach to deal with disaster risk management. In this respect, certainly the work of the Turkish governments, of the local authorities, has been tremendous, and it actually provides a model also for other countries how to deal with the response. And this is particularly important. Now I'm going back, with my private sector hat in a way. It's important because it's essential to also give a signal to the investors, to the financial community, about how to retain and strengthen the competitiveness of the private sector in Turkey. So it's actually an important condition to preserve this particular aspect. Now, going back perhaps on the element of waste management, debris management, here there are interesting links that can be developed. Some of the discussion have been already highlighting, for example, the link with the construction industry, with the cement industry. But here there's an interesting link as well, which is associated to the decarbonization of this sector. At EBRD, we've been supporting the Ministry of Industry and Technology in the development of low carbon pathways for 4 industrial sectors, including cement. And clearly, the utilization of waste material to decarbonize the production of cement is one element that is quite important in the context of decarbonization of the industrial sector in Turkey. And again, linked to the competitiveness agenda. Just to say that when you set up the capacity, the knowledge, and the instruments to connect all these elements, ultimately you can achieve synergies and can achieve broader impact. I'd like maybe to just conclude echoing a bit what my colleague from the World Bank was mentioning, the importance of also looking at circular economy models and policies. This is an important aspect. At EBRD, we've been supporting the country for several years in these aspects. We facilitated the creation of the Turkish Circular Economy Platform, which brings together hundreds of private sector and public sector players to facilitate the knowledge on circular economy models and how cost-effective models can be implemented. And again, the waste management element is a critical component there. Goes in line not only with the commercial opportunities, but also with the development of the regulation that ultimately allow companies to maximize the value of waste streams. Thank you again for the invitation.
Give him applause. Thank you, Gianpiero. Well, actually, we call it waste, but from now on we call it probably source and resource. And well, in the principle of reduce and reuse and recycle, the demolition or construction materials has to be seen, like a source. So the international cooperation and know-how transfer and experience sharing is important. Thank you for your contribution. Now, last but not least, from UNDP, Ms. Meral Mungan Arda. Please.
Thank you. After February 2023 earthquakes, as UNDP, Government of Japan, Minister of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change, and our governorates in Hatay and Kahramanmaraş, we worked on the debris recycling project. With this project, we have established safely and securely 2 debris recycling plants, one in Kahramanmaraş and one in Hatay. And we have also procured 3 mobile debris processing machineries. And it is the highest amount of debris in the world that has occurred so far. Approximated amount is approximately 100 million meter cubes. We learned from Japan through our international consultants from Japan Waste Association that the Tohoku earthquake in Japan resulted in approximately 30 million meter cubes of debris. So we unfortunately have tripled the amount in Turkey, and this is an amount, a giant amount, that none of the countries have faced before. So we have to learn how to manage this waste, and we have to work with it in a way that circular economy practices will also take place. So in this project, we tried to identify the most appropriate location for this debris recycling plants. It is actually in the middle of nowhere to avoid the risks for public health and for workers' health as well. So we did the OHS trainings for workers. We conducted, along with our partners in the region, some awareness-raising conferences and workshops in order to protect the olive trees, wetlands, wildlife protection areas. And the selected sites are both important sites for the wildlife, for human, for ecological well-being. We not only procured the machineries, but we procured the dust abatement systems as well. And also personal protection equipment for the workers that are in the site, generators, asbestos detection machines, and we have provided operational and supervision plan for asbestos management for toxic chemicals in the region, and also to separate the debris and to get the recyclables out of it. So we have the plans for management of these as well. And currently we of course have still needs in the region, like short-term needs, long-term needs. We would be in need of replicating these facilities to 11 provinces in the earthquake region. This is so important because we know that we are having greenhouse gas emissions while we are taking the raw materials from the earth to do construction. And here we have the raw material that can be used again and again, but that needs to be having some feasibility studies and some regulatory work in order to be doing it so. And bringing in the international know-how, especially the government of Japan, is very important in this aspect. So as UNDP, we are so grateful for the Minister of Environment, Urbanization and Climate Change, the governorates of Hatay, Kahramanmaraş, and the local administrations that also are supporting. We're working with together like Konya. So we really worked so hard in order to make this happen. And thanks to, of course, generous support of the government of Japan and all international organizations like AFD and EBRD, we are always hand in hand. Because for these disasters, it's never enough for only one institution to cover the all necessity in this region. So we would like to replicate this work in the earthquake region so that we can help the circular economic practices to be in place. So I just would like to thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you. Well, today we talk about waste in terms of circular economy, demolition, waste materials, recycling. So we had invaluable contribution from different institutions. First, at the very beginning, we had experience from earthquake zone from the governor. Then we had some real examples from Konya municipality to support to the earthquake zone. After that, we hear about the financial opportunities from Japan, UNDP, World Bank, and EBRD. Thanks to you all, on behalf of myself and my ministry, I would like to thank you. Let's take a photograph.